In the rugged mountains of Northern California, where towering pines stretched toward the sky and the scent of earth and resin hung heavy in the air, a hero was born, not of myth or legend, but of fur, instinct, and an unyielding spirit. His name was Yogi, a black and tan German shepherd with eyes that gleamed like polished amber and a nose that could unravel the secrets of the wild. Yogi wasn't just any dog. He was a canine trained to detect the faintest traces of smoldering embers, a four-legged sentinel in the fight against wildfires that ravaged the land. It was the summer of 2024, and California was burning. The park fire, a monstrous blaze that had already consumed over 400,000 acres, was a beast that refused to be tamed. Firefighters battled day and night, their faces streaked with soot, their bodies weary from the unrelenting heat. Helicopters roared overhead, dropping retardant, while ground crews carved fire breaks through the dense forest. But the fire was cunning, hiding in pockets of unburnt fuel, smoldering beneath the surface, waiting to reignite. Enter Yogi and his handler, Sarah Martinez, a seasoned firefighter with the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. Sarah, a woman of quiet strength and sharp intuition, had trained Yogi since he was a pup. She'd seen his potential in the way he tilted his head at the faintest whiff of smoke during training, his tail wagging like a metronome as he zeroed in on mock fire sites. Yogi wasn't just her partner. He was her family, her confidant in a world where danger was a constant companion. "Yogi, you ready, boy?" Sarah asked, kneeling beside him at the edge of a scorched clearing. The air was thick with the acrid tang of burnt wood, and the ground crunched beneath her boots. Yogi's ears perked up, his body taut with anticipation. He gave a low, eager whine, his nose already twitching. Sarah clipped on his working harness, emblazoned with the words "Fire Detection K9", and gave him the command, "Seek." Yogi bounded forward, his movements fluid and purposeful. His nose hovered inches above the ground, sniffing in short, rapid bursts. The terrain was treacherous, charred logs, hidden roots, and patches of hot ash that could burn through a boot. But Yogi was undeterred. His training had prepared him for this. Hours spent navigating obstacle courses, sniffing out tiny vials of accelerant, and learning to distinguish the scent of smoldering wood from the chaos of a fire scene. Sarah followed close behind, her eyes scanning the landscape for signs of danger. She trusted Yogi implicitly, but she knew the risks. Hidden hotspots could flare up without warning, and the fire was unpredictable. The park fire had already claimed homes, wildlife, and even a few lives. Every step was a gamble. Yogi paused, his body stiffening. He circled a patch of blackened earth, his nose working overtime. Then, with a decisive bark, he sat, his eyes locked on Sarah. It was his alert signal, the one that said, "I've found it." Sarah rushed over, pulling out her thermal imaging camera. Sure enough, the device confirmed a heat signature beneath the surface, a hidden pocket of embers, ready to spark a new blaze. "Good boy, Yogi," Sarah said, ruffling his fur. She marked the spot with a flag and radioed the coordinates to the ground crew. A team arrived within minutes, digging up the soil and dousing the embers with water. One hotspot neutralized, but the day was far from over. Yogi's journey to becoming a wildfire detection dog hadn't been easy. Born in a litter of 6 in a small town in Oregon, he was selected at 8 weeks old for his keen nose and boundless energy. His early days were spent in a specialized K9 training facility, where he learned to associate the scent of smoke and accelerants with rewards, treats, toys, and heaps of praise. But it was his bond with Sarah that truly shaped him. Sarah had joined Cal Fire after losing her childhood home to a wildfire. The memory of flames licking the sky and the helplessness she felt as her family fled fueled her determination to fight fires. When she was offered the chance to work with a K-9 unit, she hesitated. Dogs were a big responsibility, and the bond could be as heartbreaking as it was rewarding. But the moment she met Yogi, with his playful nip at her boot and his soulful eyes, she was hooked. Training Yogi was a test of patience. He was brilliant but stubborn, prone to chasing squirrels during scent drills. Sarah spent countless hours with him, running simulations in burnt-out fields, hiding smoldering rags in piles of debris, and teaching him to ignore distractions. By the time Yogi was 2, he was certified as a wildfire detection dog, one of only a handful in the country. Back at the park fire, Yogi and Sarah worked tirelessly. Day after day, they combed through the fire's perimeter, searching for hotspots that drones and satellites couldn't detect. Yogi's nose was unmatched, capable of picking up traces of smoke that even the most advanced technology missed. He found embers buried under layers of ash, smoldering roots deep in the soil, and even a hidden fire in a hollowed-out tree stump that had gone unnoticed by the crews. The work was grueling. The heat was oppressive, and the smoke irritated Yogi's eyes and lungs. Sarah carried a water bottle just for him, pouring it into a collapsible bowl whenever he needed a break. At night, they camped in a makeshift base, Yogi curled up at Sarah's feet. His soft snores a reminder of the bond that kept them going. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a call came over the radio. A new flare-up had been spotted on the fire's western flank, threatening a nearby community. The crews were stretched thin, and every second counted. Sarah and Yogi were dispatched immediately. The terrain was steeper here, the ground littered with fallen trees and boulders. Yogi moved with precision, his nose guiding him through the chaos. Sarah struggled to keep up, her legs burning from the climb. Then Yogi stopped abruptly, his hackles raised. He barked twice, sharp and urgent, and sat beside a cluster of rocks. Sarah's heart sank. She knew that bark. It wasn't just a hotspot. It was something bigger. She approached cautiously, her flashlight cutting through the dusk. The rocks were warm to the touch, and a faint wisp of smoke curled from a crevice. She radioed for backup, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her. "We've got a major hotspot, possible underground fire. Sending coordinates now." The crew arrived with shovels and hoses, uncovering a network of smoldering roots that had been feeding the flare-up. It was a hidden inferno, one that could have exploded into a new fire front if Yogi hadn't found it. As the team worked to extinguish it, the incident commander clapped Sarah on the shoulder. "That dog of yours just saved a town." By the time the park fire was fully contained, Yogi had located over 50 hidden hotspots, each one a potential disaster averted. News of his heroics spread, and soon Yogi was a local celebrity. Reporters flocked to interview Sarah, cameras flashing as Yogi sat proudly by her side, his tongue lolling out in a doggy grin. Articles dubbed him the fire-finding Fido, and children sent him drawings of him wearing a cape. But to Sarah, Yogi was more than a hero. He was the partner who'd faced danger with her, the friend who'd nudged her hand when the weight of the job felt too heavy. She knew his work wasn't just about finding fires. It was about giving hope to a community battered by loss. As autumn settled over the mountains, Sarah and Yogi took a rare day off, hiking to a meadow untouched by the fire. The air was crisp, the grass soft beneath their feet. Yogi bounded ahead, chasing a butterfly, his joy infectious. Sarah watched him, her heart full. The fires would come again. California's cycle of blazes was relentless. But with Yogi by her side, she felt ready to face them. In the years that followed, Yogi's legend grew. He trained other K9s, passing on his skills to a new generation of fire detectors. When he finally retired, gray around the muzzle but still spry, he spent his days lounging in Sarah's backyard, chewing on his favorite squeaky toy. His harness hung on the wall, a testament to the battles he'd fought and the lives he'd saved. And in the forests of California, where the scars of wildfires lingered, Yogi's story lived on. A tale of a dog who sniffed out danger, a woman who believed in him, and a bond that burned brighter than any flame.